me. So we're looking at unshakable belief. Attracted you to UW. So have a think about this. Again, write this down for yourself, and if you want to share in the chat, then feel free. What keeps you here now? And when you may have noticed that your belief levels did drop at some point, how did you rebuild it? And as you're doing your little bit of writing there, in fact, that was a bit further on. We'll talk about that.
Mhm.
So what first attracted you to UW? What keeps you here now? And when you noticed your belief may, sorry, when you noticed your belief may have dropped at some point, how did you recover and rebuild it? So anybody want to share very quick?
Quick question on the last one. Is that belief in the business or yourself?
Very good question. So could be either.
Whenever my belief dropped, I always remind myself of the bigger picture and the long-term need or want.
Yeah.
That tends to shift
So
now and again.
back to your why then.
Absolutely the bigger picture. It's not
Yeah.
just the here and now. We've all had ups and downs, haven't we? But mine is always about that bigger picture and the residual income.
Absolutely. So, you've always got to go back to, I would always say go back to what first attracted you. So always think about that, when you're a bit down in the dumps, what was it that attracted you to UW in the first place? And what were the goals that you set back then?
I agree with that. Can I say something,
Yeah,
Paul?
of course, Mary, yeah.
I agree with what Claire said. What attracted me was a colleague of mine we were in another networking company, and I saw that she'd put a post out and I was keen to find out, and I wanted to get out of the job I was in, and my belief did drop when I lost team members. I was close to being STL, etc., and it does
Yeah.
drop because
Yeah.
there's no rhyme or reason. But keep in mind the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It keeps you in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because you've got to think, what am I going to quit to? This is something
Yes, exactly. There's nothing to quit to. Yeah.
phrase I've always remembered. What are you going to quit to? What else is out
Yeah.
there that's better than this as a part-time, solopreneur business, if you like. So perfect. Okay. So would you agree that your results reflect your belief? Basically, your business is a mirror of your belief. And when your belief rises, your activity rises. So I think somebody hit the nail on the head a moment ago. So it's about believing in your, Seb actually, wasn't it? Believing in yourself. Interestingly, there's three circles on that image. Believing in yourself, firstly, that you can do this. Okay. And if you didn't think you could do this, you wouldn't have joined in the first place. So somebody told you, or you told yourself, that you were going to be able to do this business. Okay. And that belief drives, like you can see there, confidence and ultimately action, which is going to bring you in results. Okay. But it's also about having belief in UW, having faith in the business model of network marketing as well. Now, for those of you who don't know, to give you a bit more extra belief, we are currently the 8th largest MLM company in the world. Okay, so globally, and there are literally thousands of network marketing companies out there, and they're popping up every day of the week. And we are the 8th largest globally. Can you believe that? We only trade in the UK, but globally we're 8th. We're listed on.
So I was just going to ask Paul, isn't it true that certainly when I joined, I think we were about 11th, and perhaps when you joined, we were about 13th in the world,
15th or
wasn't it?
16th, I think we were, yeah.
Yeah, 16th maybe, yeah.
And we're only if we were to double and double again, pretty much, we'd pretty much be second or third, I think. So, I think we turned over $2.8 billion, and I think the highest turnover is about 8 billion, the number one spot. So when if we can get to 6% market share, we'll be up at the top of those global rankings as well. Most of you will know, obviously, we're a FTSE 250 company. What does that mean? We are listed on the on the Financial Times Stock Exchange. Okay, that's what that means. FTSE means Financial Times Stock Exchange. So we're listed on the FTSE 250, the London Stock Exchange, which means we're one of the largest 350 companies in the UK, because you've got the FTSE 100, then you've got the next 250, and we're in that. So top 350 companies in the UK with over 1 million customers. Now, I think this is amazing that it's taken us over 25 years to get to 1 million, and we're on target to do another 1 million, the same number, in just a fifth of the time, which is incredible. So we're on a massive growth curve at the moment. And then all the awards we've got over the years, it's got to be touching 90 odd awards now, I should think. Just to give you that belief in the company itself. Okay, and then obviously the products and services is the third one. So it's okay having belief in the company, but if they don't provide us with decent services that we can sell, then it doesn't matter what the model's like. If the services are no good and we can't sell them, then our business is just going to go around in circles. So it's about having trust in that the company doing the right thing, because we all have a whinge and a whine, don't we, now and again, about the services and what have you. But in the 17 years I've been involved, I've had a whinge and a whine, but actually ultimately they come out with the best options and the best decisions for both the company and for ourselves. Okay, so let's have a look. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you right now? So rate yourself in each of these. Again, feel free to put it in the chat if you want to. For self, the company, and our products and services. If you were to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, belief in yourself, belief in UW, and belief in our current products and services. I'm going to start up. I'm going to do. Oh, nines. Nines in there as well. 10, Tim, for services. Wow, brilliant. Okay. So, independently, we're all saying, belief levels may not be there in ourselves, but from a product and a company point of view, the belief levels are right at the very top. Couldn't be a lot higher, if I'm honest. So it's nothing wrong with what the company's doing. So it must be about our own self-belief, mustn't it? Okay, it's that little voice in the back of your head that keeps saying, no, don't talk to that person in the shopping queue. Don't go and deliver those neighbour letters. It's too cold and windy. Sit in and watch EastEnders instead. And we all succumb to that, don't we? Every single one of us. And there was a book that I read. I can't remember the name of it now. But there was a bit of a chapter on this voice in the back of your head, and when you hear it, when it's calling me to the kitchen cupboard late at night for a bowl of cereal, I've got to say, shut up, no, I don't need any cereal. You've got to talk back to it, but verbally, actually, openly talk back to it, so you hear your own voice, and it shuts that voice off in the back of your head, and it's actually something that does really work, and it works for me quite well. So when you can hear it, and you have to be able to recognize that voice, because a lot of the time you don't. And if you recognize that voice talking to you and doing something you don't really want to do, because you're just going out the door to deliver neighbour letters, and that voice saying, no, it's raining outside. It's going to get dark, and all the mums will be out picking the kids up from school. There's going to be nobody answering the doors. That's when you got to turn that voice off and say, no, I'm going out, whatever. Okay, so that's where a lot of that self-belief, that doubt creeping in, you can try and overcome. Okay, but no one has perfect belief all of the time in any of these things, really. So what knocks our confidence? And again, feel free to shout out or put in the chat there what sort of things knock us off course and knock us off balance in UW in particular. So who did a neighbour letter? Who got a result from neighbour letters?
I did. It's the
Time.
nose. Go for no.
Go for no, yeah. So what might happen if you were at somebody's door?
Oh, they could shut the door on you.
Might get rejection, mightn't you? So is that going to knock your confidence?
No, I've got used to it now.
Negative comments. Yeah,
It's
I mean you have to
it's
build a
yeah.
thick skin to some of this stuff, don't you?
I think
But
it's consistency, Paul, and I think if you start to learn answers for those negative comments sometimes, or
yes,
yeah.
a lot of the time actually, having a bit of humour with it as well. Yeah, ghosting, Claire. No sign up. So yeah, why don't they sign up if they've been shown as a clear saving, that sort of thing? Just some other examples here. Negative comments, obviously, and that might not just be from clients, that might be from friends and family, of course, as well. What you're doing that pyramid scheme, or you still doing that pyramid scheme. I used to get that a lot from my friends, calling it pyramid scheme and taking the mickey out of me doing it. But they don't take the mickey out of me now. So yeah, service fails, Tim. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it can really throw you off your stride. And interestingly, actually, that was one of the examples I was going to give. I had a period a good few years ago now, where I was mentoring someone, and both his and my couple of customers, we had about 6 customers over a couple of month period whose broadband, for one reason or another, or reasons, just did not work, and they were just complaining. It was awful. And I literally put the business down for 6 months. I couldn't just face doing another broadband switch. And I got to a point, and Claire Ray's not on the call, but Claire Ray knows about this as well, that I almost quit. And this was only a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. Because it just drives you to despair, doesn't it? But what I did do is have to rebuild and rebuild fast. Okay, 6 months sounds a long time, but actually it isn't. It just goes by in just like that, doesn't it? So we all wobble at times, and everybody, including the senior leaders in this business. But it's about how quickly you reset that really matters. And what did it for me was revisiting my why, as we've already discussed. Yeah, the reason why I got involved in this business in the first place, that residual income, just growing in the background. Why would I want to throw that away? And understanding that we're going to have some bumps in the road. Every road gets a bit bumpy from time to time, and it's no different with this business. We just need to put those blinkers on and understand our focus and our long-term goal as to why we got involved with this, why we joined. Yeah, listening to other people's stories of success, maybe. Keeping small promises to yourself. And this one's really important. This is what I did a lot of, chatting with your upline or other partners. They weren't my upline, they were other partners, Claire, Andy, Anna, having conversations. They all knew where I was, where my head was at the time. And that's why I just decided to take myself out of it for a few months, just to allow myself to calm down. When you do that, you take a step back and take a breath, you can sort of see the wood for the trees a little bit. And also, I think the other really important one is staying plugged into to the calls and team chat. So I was still running these calls at that time. And so I had to continue doing the calls, even though I wasn't actually physically active. And of course, that kept me motivated and going, because I was having to do that for you guys, for the team. Some of you weren't in the business then. And that's what we have to do as leaders, isn't it? Not everything's going to go to plan all of the time. And it's how we deal with it, really, moving forwards. So as your belief grows, the activity will naturally follow. So when I got back on board again, things started happening and the pipeline starts building again. and think of other things like, for me, one of the biggest motivators for me in this business was when I qualified for one of the holidays. And I know Claire and Tim, you'll have had that experience. Having the mini Seb is the same. Achievements within the business. It gives you. Let me picture this. So you are told to go to a helicopter pad, and you're told to get into it. Just see if you can picture this in your mind. You're told to get into a helicopter with 2 or 3 other people, and then a couple of minutes later, you're in the helicopter, and you've never been in a helicopter before. So that's an experience in itself, and you take off, and within a few minutes, you are descending down the Grand Canyon into the base of the Grand Canyon, into the river at the bottom, and you're flying through the Grand Canyon. What an amazing experience. And that was me when I went to Las Vegas. Never been in a helicopter, never been to the Grand Canyon. Absolutely amazing, all for free. And that gave me belief in everything that I was doing. That was, God, back in 2012. So those experiences that we have with UW, whether it's just getting Christmas dinner, whether it's going out on a day out, whether it's qualifying for a holiday, whether it's getting your energy free, whatever it is, it gives you that belief in the company, in the products and services, and in yourself because you've achieved something. So going for some of these incentives is really key for you staying in the business and motivating yourself to keep going. Even if you don't achieve them, you've still, when I qualified for the holiday, okay, I qualified for the holiday, but I'd also got to senior team leader en route to doing that, because I set my goal as the holiday, and you need a certain amount of points and customers and what have you for the holiday. And that's what propelled me to senior team leader quite early on. Okay, so going to give you a team challenge if you're willing to accept. So this week's focus, I want you to take one area, whether it be yourself, the business, or the company products and services, and do one extra thing every single day to strengthen your belief in one of those areas. Two rising helicopters, neither by choice.
Seeing as we all knocked ourselves down on self.
It should be self then. So I'll give you a couple of
shouldn't it?
Yeah, so a couple of ideas here. And again, feel free to tell us maybe either in the chat, in your own WhatsApp groups, what you're going to be doing this week. It might be listening to a success story. It might be doing some personal development, reading a few pages of a book. I'd say, minimum of 10 minutes a day. Celebrating a small win daily, like that's why we did that at the very beginning, but do that daily for yourself. It only has to be something very small, and that could be as small as practicing the presentation, or making one call, or sending one text message if you're not very active at the moment. If you are active, then, multiply your activity by maybe 25 or 50%. See how that works. So if you know already what you're going to do, pop it in the chat. I'd love to see it. And if not, put it in the WhatsApp groups. And we'll be sending a message out later in the week just to see how you've got on. So belief first, results second. And I love this quote. I've always loved this quote. Believe it or not, that's the very first Ford motor car that was designed and sold.
And impossible to drive.
Yeah. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're absolutely right. That was what Henry Ford said. So many people doubted what he was doing. Okay. And then just wrapping up with that quote. So basically, belief is built through repetition. So we know that. We just got to keep doing the numbers, haven't we? And the more that you do that, the more that your belief strengthens and the more consistent your activity becomes. So it's like a ladder, isn't it? You just grow in your belief and your strength and your activity and your results ultimately as your belief grows. So, okay.